Hello and happy Friday. My name is Chrissy Hodges, and this is a little video series that I do each week just as a word of encouragement or something that I've been through in the week to reach out to people who are living with mental illness. I have a radio show called Mental Illness Matters at Blog Talk Radio, and each week we have an individual guest or organization that comes on and talks about living successfully with mental illness or breaking down stigma. And I also have co-hosts that come on and we discuss topics that matter with mental illness. So this was born out of a month or so that I took off of the radio show, and I usually just come in and talk and just try to connect with people because sometimes mental illness can feel so isolating, and you can feel like you're the only one in the world that's dealing with it, and you can feel like an alien. And I live successfully with a mental illness, and there are times that I just felt like no one could ever understand. And the truth is that there are many of us out there that understand, but unfortunately it's hard to speak out because of shame and guilt and embarrassment, which is kind of a good segue into what I wanted to talk about today. A little bit of what I wanted to talk about is more of a serious topic, and it may go a little bit longer than normal today, but I just want to make sure that I make the point adequately and non-offensively. This is a topic that's really hard for me to broach, and I've tried before on my radio show a few years ago and it just didn't go over well. And typically the reason why is because I feel so strongly and emotionally attached to this topic. I woke up this morning to an email from a colleague about the plane crash in the Alps, and I went online and saw the story about the gentleman who was the co-pilot who locked the pilot out and crashed the flight. And it seems that it was intentional, and it seems as if the media is digging into his past, and they're looking into the fact that he has depression and has taken a leave and has possibly hid this from his employer, and all of the things that go along with who are we going to blame for this? We need a reason. Okay, look, yay, mental illness. Look, okay, now everybody can feel safe. This affects me on so many different levels, and it's a really difficult topic to discuss because it's so sensitive on so many different angles. First of all, I feel absolute compassion and sadness for the people that lost their lives for no reason, just because someone committed a selfish act. I also understand that when things like this happen, we have to find a reason to make sense out of it. Anytime there's an act of violence, you just want to make sense about it. I spoke with a few colleagues of mine today about this very topic because I wanted to be able to put together a little video that didn't make it seem like I was just leaning to one side or leaning to the other, or just, sticking to my guns and wanting to be an advocate for mental illness and just saying, forget everything else, we can't blame this. I wanted to make sure to try to have some balance, so I got some perspective from several of my colleagues. So I may be quoting some of the things that they said or their ideas. However, I'm not going to name their names, but I will put them when I post this, if that's okay with them. One of the things that one of my colleagues says is that the media likes to have that balance of fear and safety. So when something like this happens, the fear is perpetuated, of course. You want to feel afraid that this could happen anytime and anywhere. So fear drives people. Fear changes people. Fear has power over people. So there's that side of it. But then they also pull over here and they want people to feel safe. And so how to do that is, we have this fear, but look. Oh, it's just mental illness. That's the cause of it. Another one of my colleagues says, well, there are many people out here that just want to believe and will refuse to not believe anything other than mental illness makes people inherently bad. Nothing we can do will change that. And that hurts my heart. But I believe that. And so when I think about all of those things, I just think, what am I doing here? What are we doing? Where are we going? How can we make a difference? I just wanted to share with you my personal feelings about it. Another colleague says, and I believe this, stories about crazy mentally ill people, they sell. They sell. It's entertainment for people. So let me tell you personally, my life story with a mental illness is not funny. It's not entertaining. Yeah, maybe if you read it in a comedic way, it would be entertaining, and it could be a comedy at some point. It wasn't fun. It's not fun. I don't take it lightly, and people who have mental illness and the people that love me, they don't think it's funny either. They don't think it's entertaining. So when I hear things like this, I'm going to tell you what it makes me feel like. First of all, it sets everything that we're doing back. I realize people need to grab onto things to make sense. So you want to think there must have been something so wrong with this person that they could do that. I need to know. Yeah, but another one of my colleagues says, acts like this aren't necessarily a result of mental illness. They're a result of immorality. Yeah, sure, mental illness can drive you to do a lot of crazy things, but I'm going to give you a statistic. Statistics, go look them up. People who are mentally ill are more likely to have violent acts committed against them than to actually commit a violent act. Maybe you don't believe me, and I'm sorry that I don't have something to cite right here, but it is the truth. What I feel is I feel terrible for all of those people, but I also, if this guy was suffering, which a lot of the things that they're trying to say is that he hid his disorder, that he did take a leave, whatever. If he did have to hide his disorder out of shame and guilt and embarrassment, that's also a failing of the system. It's a failure for society. Because if we have a society that perpetuates the idea that I can't come out to people and say I have a mental illness, so you won't hire me, you won't accept me, I'm not allowed to have a specific position in a company, or I'm not allowed to advance in my career or in life in general because of that, it's a failure in our society. And that's something that we collectively have to work on. Please understand, I am not having compassion for someone who killed 150 people. Please understand this. This is a feeling that I have every time something happens and the media goes right to pinpoint it to mental illness. When I read these things and I know that people are taking comfort in the fact that, oh, but those people are just mentally ill, so I don't have to worry about it, there's an excuse. When I read that, you know what I think? You're talking about me. You're talking about some of my best friends. You're talking about my colleagues. It's just someone who's mentally ill. And people who are mentally ill should be feared because they could snap at any moment. If you believe that, then you believe that about me. You believe that about so many people that you know and you don't know that they have a mental illness. Why? Because our society is not safe for us to come out in the open and say, I suffer with fill in the blank mental illness. Why? It's a cycle. Because when things like this happen, the media wants to always figure out a way to blame mental illness. It's a cycle that continues to be perpetuated. I am not making excuses for violent behavior. Please understand that. And I'm not being empathetic to someone who took 150 lives. My point here is my feelings about these sorts of incidents are so complicated because it's so easy. It's so easy to blame something that you don't understand than to find out the facts. To find out that there are crimes committed every single day that have nothing to do with mental illness. But it's so easy to look at these and just say, those people are dangerous. Those people should be feared. So the next time you read an article or you see a Facebook post or you post it yourself, remember that those people, it's me. And when you post that stuff, you're posting about me. And some of my colleagues and my best friends and people that I hold to the highest esteem. We have an issue in this country with media, and we have an issue in this country with mental illness. We have an issue where people are afraid to come out and get help, and they're afraid because of the shaming, the embarrassment, and the guilt. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? I'd like to know, and I'd love to know your feedback. I'd love to know how it makes you feel. My apologies if this is a little dark, and my apologies if I've offended you in any way. It weighs heavy on me when I hear these things. Again, because it's referencing my life and what I've been through. So, thank you for listening. And if you have any comments, feedbacks, anything, please contact me. That's ocd.chrissie@gmail.com. ocd.chrissy@gmail.com. That's my email, or you can Facebook me at Chrissy Hodges or the Stigma of Mental Illness Radio. We'll be talking more about this tomorrow at blogtalkradio.com, Mental Illness Matters. I will have on, like I said, my co-hosts, Margaret Sisson and Kevin Putnam and David Kramer is going to be my one-on-one interview. I really hope you can join me. That's 4 o'clock tomorrow, Mountain Standard Time. So I hope to see you there. Thank you for listening, and I would love to hear your feedback. And, just a reminder, it's violence and mental illness does not go hand in hand. There are incidents, but we're not all bad, and we want to do everything to abolish that myth. I hope you have a great week. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And I hope you have a great weekend. Have some fun, relax, and enjoy the weather. Bye.